Hello, everybody. So this is the video dealing with section 4.2, trigonometric functions on the unit circle. So this is the first part of the video dealing with this section. There's going to be a second part where we're going to expand on the concept of these trigonometric functions. So first of all, as you can see here, when we talk about the word trigonometry, we're dealing with, or what we mean is the measurement of triangles. Okay, but we're not going to go there yet. So this is the second video we're going to discuss this, but the concept comes from the study of the movement of this object on the circle. Now, so imagine here you have this angle T. We have the unit circle. We call it the unit circle because the radius is 1. So imagine this object attached to the end of this line, and it's moving along the circle right here. As it moves along the circle, it creates, well, it changes the point, right? So this is a point. Everywhere you go, there's going to be a point. This point is going to have an X and Y coordinate. So let's imagine, for example, the point is right here. This is the angle. This is the point where this object is located right now. Now, the X coordinate is this length right here. Okay? This blue line. This is the X coordinate. The Y coordinate is this length right here. Okay? And as you can see, it forms every location on the circle, it's going to form a right triangle. And that's where the word trigonometry comes from, or these trigonometric functions. They come from the study of these triangles. But for now, we're just going to be concerned with the movements along the circle. So as this point moves along the unit circle, it creates a point, and that point has a X and Y coordinate. And the X and Y coordinate are the most important two trigonometric functions, which is sine and cosine. So as it turns out, mathematicians called the length of the Y coordinate sine function of the angle, and they called the X coordinate, or the length of the X coordinate, the cosine of the angle. All right. So these are the two main functions. And then every other function, and we have, as you can see here, these are the two main ones, right? So as I said, Y, the length of the Y coordinate is our sine function. The length of our X coordinate is our cosine function. And then we have the derivations. The first one is the tangent, which is the Y coordinate divided by the X. We have the cotangent, that is the reciprocal, right? Tangent Y over X, cotangent X over Y, obviously provided that Y is not 0. Cosecant is 1 over Y, provided that Y is not 0. And secant is 1 over X, provided that X is not 0. So the two main ones are determined from the movements along the unit circle, sine and cosine. Tangent is a derivation. Cosecant, secant, and cotangent are all derivations of sine and cosine. So the main two ones are sine and cosine. And then all we have to know is to remember the relationship between sine and cosine of tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Okay? So these are the movements on the unit circle. Now, the questions at this level are very, very basic. And they're all based on a point being given on the unit circle. And knowing that point, we are going to be asked to find the other, um, we're going to be asked to find all of the values of these six trigonometric functions, or maybe one or two or three. Okay, so here, examples 1 and 2, finding values of trigonometric functions. So let's see. So you were given, or you will be given, a point, and in this particular case, the x coordinate is negative, the y coordinate is positive. So I mean, obviously the second quadrant, right? First quadrant, second quadrant, third, and fourth. All right. Now we need to know the value, right? So we may be asked the question, find the value of all six trigonometric functions based on this information. All right, so we can do that. So immediately we know that the length of y and the length of x are the sine. So sine t is the length of the y coordinate. All right, so this is my y, this is my x. So sine of, I'll make it visible for you to see. So the sine of the angle is the y coordinate. All right, it's given, it's the point. And cosine of the angle is the x coordinate, which in this case is -1/2. Okay, so this is pretty easy. It's given. So now we can find the other four, which is tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. All right, so I know that tangent t is y over x. All right, so I have the y and I have the x. Now I have to be able to divide, so we have to know how to divide fractions, right? So multiply by the reciprocal, -2/1, right? So the 2's cancel, and I have -3. All right, so we can find now cotangent t. Well, cotangent t, as you can see up there in the definition, is x over y. So here's my x, and here's my y. Again, multiply by the reciprocal, so -1/2 times 2/3. Now, you have to be able to simplify the radical, right? So this is not appropriate to have a radical in the denominator. So as you've learned in Math 119, we have to rationalize the denominator. This is -3. This is radical 9. Radical 9 is 3. So this is cotangent of t. Okay, so now we have to find cosecant. Cosecant of t. As you can see, there is just 1 over y. So 1 over here is my y. So multiply again by the reciprocal. So this is 2 radical 3, and we have to rationalize it again, right? So to rationalize means remove the radical from the denominator. Radical 3, radical 3, radical 9. Radical 9 is 3. And the last one would be secant of t. Now, secant of t, as you can see up there, is 1 over x. So 1 over x. And our x is -1/2. So again, multiply by the reciprocal. So I have 1 times negative 2 over 1. So this is negative 2. So knowing this point, right, knowing the original point, we were able to find all 6 trigonometric functions. Okay, so this is basically it at this point. Knowing that as a point moves on the unit circle, it creates the values of sine and cosine, and that then from there we can find the other values of the other 4 trigonometric functions. Okay, it doesn't really matter if you were given the point or, as in the second case, you were given the angle. Okay, so this is an angle in pi radians. So I'm going to erase all of this stuff so that we can do the second example. So both were taken from the textbook that you can check it later. Okay. Now, the angle is pi over 2. Now, pi over 2, if you remember how to convert to degrees, pi is 180 degrees, right? So this is 180 divided by 2. So this is exactly 90 degrees. So here is my point on the unit circle. And now from there, I can find the value of the other, of all the 6 trigonometric functions. So I begin knowing that sine t is the length of the y coordinate, right? Well, as you can see here, it's at the maximum value. So here's your point, right? But they didn't have to give us this information because they gave us the angle. So from here, we should know where the point is, that this is 90 degrees. So sine t is 1. What is cosine t? Well, cosine t is the x coordinate at this location, all right? So imagine that you don't have the point. And, well, the x coordinate is right here, and that is 0. Right? So we have 2 functions already. Let's find tangent t. Now, tangent t, as you see from the definition, is y over x. Now, this is 1 over 0. This is undefined. All right, we can't do. So it would say no tangent. Okay, let's do cotangent t. Cotangent t is x over y. So x is 0 over y1. That is 0. How about cosecant t? Cosecant t, as you see there, is 1 over y. So it's 1 over 1, which is 1. And secant t is 1 over x. 1 over 0, which is undefined. So no secant t. All right. So based on just the angle, right? Even if they don't give us the point itself, they can give us the angle. We can still find the value of all 3 functions. For 90 degrees is pretty easy, and you know the values that we're supposed to know. We have to know the values of 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90, and the multiples of these values when they turn to be known angles. All right, we've seen this before, and we'll see them again. So whether we are given the point or the angle, we should be able to find the value, at least for the known angles, the value of all 6 trigonometric functions. So in the next video, we'll expand this and we'll move the concept of the unit circle to triangles.